Okay, we're back. So I put some more thought into it. This whole thing I was talking about with... That was interesting. With the whole Deep Dwarf Centaur situation. Nice, he actually helped me. We're resistant to heat now. And the idea of, like, what is the best thing to do? You know, on a long enough timeline, you're streaking, you're going to lose somehow, right? What is the best thing you can do to eliminate what I would characterize as stupid deaths? You know, and it occurs to me that, like, there's really only 3 things that kill you that are outside of your control. One is auto-exploring next to something that just does more damage than the hit points that you have, so that means that low hit point races are not playable. If you want to guaranteed or close to guaranteed streak, you can't play a Spriggan. You can't play a Felid. You can't play anything with less than 75 hit points by the time by the time 2-headed ogres show up, right? It's just not possible. Uh-oh. Well, we gotta go up. Could have been paralyzed there. But... So hit points is the first of those 3 problems, right? So then the next problem is MR, where you auto-explore into something that that just paralyzes you, you know? And that's unfortunate, right? Actually, I should say there's if I wanted to classify it a little further, there's 4 problems. So let me start over. So you've got not enough hit points, so you get one-shotted by something ridiculous in the mid-game. You've got the MR problem, where you auto-explore into Banish or Paralyze, and that just kills you, right? And then there's the super... Then there's the kind of polar opposites, which are sort of the same problem, but not really. You've got the super late game problem, where Zot traps are just broken, and the devs refuse to remove them, even though they're broken. And so in Zot 5, you can get teleported to a big room full of things that very much could kill you instantly, or close to instantly. I would say this is the least deadly of these 4, the least streak-ending, because by that time, you do have an insane amount of resources, and you shouldn't die to that on any character. You should by that time be able to handle that problem one way or another, even if you're not going the Zen route, which completely removes that issue. And the final problem is... Oh, we could get paralyzed here. The final problem is... Floor 1 through floor 3. Your character has to be able to handle that, even if something like a halberd null shows up, or a kobold with an electricity sword, or whatever, you know. Hello, TRJ. Do we want to fight him in the open? The answer is no. So we'll dig a bit. So that again removes low hit point races, as though they weren't already out of the question. But it also removes, you know, anything that doesn't have some way to escape. I mean, just consider this for a second. With my centaurs, I can, as long as I don't get some really stupid arrival vault, I can walk away from almost any problem. So centaur is pretty much cream of the crop. Deep dwarfs, pretty good. They can, you know, they can heal themselves. So, I mean, and they start with a good amount of hit points. But they could still get one-shotted by something like electricity. So if you're stuck in a hallway with an approaching electricity attack enemy on D1, you're essentially screwed. You're rolling the dice. If you let that thing hit you, you're rolling the dice on dying, because nobody starts with 30 hit points, and that's, I think, how much electricity can do. So, you gotta keep that in mind. So that means your background has to be something that stops that from happening. And the nearest thing I can figure that does that is not actually Trog, it's the one we're doing here, Artificer. Because you're sort of rolling the dice. I mean, there's a chance that you could fail to kill something with a fire wand, wand of flame, 20 times in a row, or 15 times in a row, or however many chances you get. It's extraordinarily unlikely. So, like, a Deep Dwarf Artificer solves most of those problems. So you got your hit points. They have big hit points, fine. They have better than Centaur, so that's easy. Floor 1, you can solve that with background for the most part, so that's solved. MR, well, nothing really solves the MR problem, like I was saying before. That's Magic Map. The thing about the MR problem is that you can make it less crappy. You can't just solve it with a choice of species or background, or god even. The best you can do is play a high MR species and then also worship Trog, I guess. But then you have sort of screwed yourself over on the 4th category, because Trog is not good at solving that Zop problem. Which, all things considered, like I said, is the least scary. It's the least scary problem. By the way, you know what I didn't consider when I came in here is those great orbs of eyes or whatever. They could paralyze me as I come around a bend, which is not particularly scary if they're alone, but is murderous if they're with something else. So maybe I shouldn't be in here. I mean, their chance to paralyze me is... it's certainly higher. If I look at Great Orb of Eyes, 13% chance to paralyze. Orc Sorcerer, 9% chance to paralyze. On the other hand, Great Orb of Eyes really can't kill me on its own. A Sorcerer can. So I think I'm more scared of Orc right now. Now, it's not to say, I don't think I've ever died in Orc from this thing, but I can think of several situations where I could have if the RNG had rolled poorly for me. So, I mean, I can't just discount that possibility. I mean, you may be thinking, like, why am I all of a sudden paranoid of Orc after clearing it, you know, a jillion times with no problem at all? It's just the same problem as the wizard that took out my last streak, just in a different spot. He can do 100 damage to me, but he dies, thanks to the water elemental. Pick that up, pick that up. Nice, we take out the Shining Eye. I've also had some truly goofy thoughts on trying to solve this whole equation. Like playing a race like Vampire or Mummy and just sitting around and waiting for things to come to me. Because you can't be surprise paralyzed by something if it walks to you unless it gets random energy, I suppose. Because then you get the first move. That doesn't really work out though. It's a fun little thought experiment to solve the MR problem. But in reality it doesn't work because at some point you're going to have to move and it just doesn't work. Alright, we're going to walk on out of here. I guess we're going to teleport. Does that confuse? Tell you, man, 25%. It's more like 100%. Got him. There's TRJ. We can walk away from him if we run into anything tough. Well, there's one. We'll have to teleport. Okay. There he is. I don't want to fight him just yet. I want to clear out the center. Alright, rest up. Take this stuff down. Anyway, like that whole thought process, I didn't, the point of me talking about that was not to pretend like I have a solution, because I don't. It's just the thought, it's just where I'm at. It just seems like you're sacrificing, no matter what you do, you're sacrificing one of those solutions, and, or to maximize one of the fields, one of the four, solving one of the four issues, you're sacrificing one of the other ones. Like, for example, to maximize the MR problem, or to maximize, you know, your ability to solve that, you're going to take Trog, which means you're not going to abandon Trog because you don't want to get paralyzed, which means you're going to have a harder time in Zot 5 if you get teleported. That's the one that I'm most willing to sacrifice, because it's the least scary, oddly enough. Let's use resist as well. So it's like, I wonder, is at that point, does that mean that DD Berserker is the best for streaking? You know, is that? You know, I should write this down actually. So hit points, two-headed ogres, etc. I think I'm kind of onto something here with just this overall view of what streaking is, what parameters affect the ability to streak. So it was hit points, MR plus, 5 teleports, and then D1 through D3 survival. And I'm sure that if I like spend a little more time thinking about this, I'll come up with something, but maybe not. I mean, what's heroism? Let's throw a net. We get him in the net. Let's summon again, and let's just wreck him. and that again. This whole summoning thing didn't work out too well. But we killed him. It's cool. And we'll just finish all this stuff off. I mean, can't really die to this. We have a ton of RC. So we used a few resources, but at no point were we risking death. Necronomicon. Pog and a few other things. I'll memorize Swiftness, even though I'll probably never cast it. Wow. See, that's the thing, is every so often you're going to run into the game, like the one I'm playing now, where you just don't get any MR. I mean, actually, I did get some MR. I got 1 MR from this plate armor. But it is simply not enough. And that's what I was thinking with the MR problem. Even if you do play a Deep Dwarf, you're not going to run around automatically immune to Orc Sorcerers. You're still going to need at least 1 pip, probably. Because what that 6 means is you're getting 6 points every level. So their aptitude is 6, Centaur aptitude is 3. So 6 points every level. 50 points is 1 pip. You're immune to Orc Sorcerers around 3 pips. So that's, let's see. Yeah, 6, you need to be like level 8, you know, roughly, to get your first pip. And then you need to be 16 to get 2 pips. So, and that's being a little bit liberal with it. You'd actually need an extra level or 2 to actually get the pip, but doesn't really solve the problem of auto-exploring into something and immediately getting banished, immediately getting paralyzed, whatever. So, I don't know if there is a solution, really. And that's a real shame. So anyway, we have gotten 3 runes, and we're now in a position where we just have to go to a place with MR problems. I guess I'm going to pick Orcish Mines. This will be Slime, Orc, and Vaults. And it's, again, I understand we're not talking about situations that come up all the time. I mean, it's unlikely for you to have these problems. I'm talking about small chance, but statistically inevitable situations that you're going to run into, right? Now, if I really wanted to talk about this, oh wow, Orc 1, Stone Giant. Now, if I really wanted to talk about this, obviously, you can't eliminate this crap entirely, because Chaos Brand exists, so it's only a matter of time, statistically, until you auto-explore or step next to something with Chaos. It paralyzes or banishes you, and then you're just dead. So it's not about... Hello, that's cute. Ugh. You know what? I'm going to risk it. I'm going to risk walking away. I'm going to wait for her to get here. Then I'm going to read Silence. I'm just going to kill her. All these MR threats I'm talking about, and I'm running into every single one. But yeah, like I was saying, it's not a... Oh my god, I actually got the MR targeting branch ending with the ogre mages. Sweet. Oh crap. Don't be too mad at me, bro. Oh crap. I forgot that you can't. You don't want to make Oka too mad at you. I screwed up. Alright, that's okay. We're gonna... Let's see if we can get Oka to not be so pissed off at me. He could make some pretty nasty stuff to attack me. Yeah, so what happened there is I immolated and I had buddies, and then my buddies died from the explosions, which technically is a betrayal. Alright, this guy can... Oh right, they don't have banish. So he could paralyze me. That wouldn't be the end of the world unless Oka sent guys at me at the same time. So let's take a step. Let's take another step and another. Take a step. We'll actually use these as intended. In my haste to try to deal with the MR targets, I forgot which god I was worshipping. Yeah, but to get that sentence out, yeah, this is not, this thought experiment is not to guarantee that you literally cannot die, because I don't think that's possible, honestly. Okay, nothing I want here except for that potion and the scroll. More scrolls, more scrolls. Another scroll. Phantom mirror, I guess. Wow. This is fine. Oh my god. Let's just try to step. I'm gonna try to emulate this stuff. Alright, and then we'll take out all of Oka's army here. Okarath is not so bad if you know how to deal with it. Of course, we're using blink scrolls, so that's, you know, of course I'm going to say that it's easy to deal with, because I have the best resource in the game to do it, but I only have one more. Alright, so we could go to Orc Slime or Vaults. I'm actually inclined to go to Elf instead of Vaults, come to think of it, because I could get banished here, I could get paralyzed in Vaults. Okay, we're gonna dig. Hopefully Oka doesn't stay too mad at me for too much longer. He's still mad, by the way. I was rather hoping that Faith would... Oh my god. This is so rough. 3 Wraths. Then again, I killed a lot of my own dudes, so shouldn't be too surprised. Oka's not very pleased with me right now. Well, we got Roxanne here. Let's try on these gloves real quick. So not archery. I got evolution. You know, this is not so good. Because we're about to get another Wrath. I'll just rest and risk it. I could have blinked if it had shown up, so we're fine. Hopefully this Wrath ends soon. I could kill Roxanne here. I think I'm gonna try. It was a pretty good, position to deal with her in, because I had so many walls. Wow. Boy, he is so mad at me. I killed so many of my allies. He's not gonna let me forget it. Summoning, fear, magic mapping. Yeah, it'll be fine for now. Still not mollified. Still not mollified. And now we're in a really bad situation. I'm gonna try to run this way. This isn't so bad, actually. Hello. +7 Demon Trident. Let's take a look. +3. Now we have enough. We have 4 enchant weapons, so there's +7 right there. Well, let's see if we can save ourselves. You know, optimize. Fine, so let's go grab these. So we can actually hit up the, we can hit up this trove immediately. Okay, so maybe I shouldn't be so reckless and dumb. Come on, Oka, stop being so mad. Okay, tempted to rebrand my longbow, but I'm not gonna. Instead, we're gonna actually drop the scroll of brand weapon and turn it off, and we'll try that later. Keep enchanting up my plate mail. Dig through here. Need a Blade Master, but I don't think this is really gonna work. I can take so much damage here. Really, I just want to walk away and make it to a staircase. Not gonna get away from the Blade Master, though. He is too fast. Can I just kill him? Not really. Oh my god. Let me use heal wounds. Finally. This should, I was gonna say this should be cleared out by now, but nope. How about we just take up this trident here, and then we go in here. Sorry, what? Oh, right. I didn't quite... Oh, no. Oh, man. And he's still butthurt at me. Don't use Immolate unless you're totally sure of what you're doing. This is really bad. It's got to end soon. I mean, we've gone through like a ton of these things. I'm gonna go ahead and use agility. All right, acid's not gonna help me against a yellow draconian. It's just silly. It's really stupid conduct, by the way. Just the idea that Oka doesn't let you attack your own allies. I guess it makes sense, you know, thematically speaking, but from a game perspective, the fact that immolation works that way makes it very easy to do something really dumb, like I did just now. Alright, enchant weapon. Now, let's see what's going on here. Amulet of Air. Worst possible character to find that on. Smoking shortbow. So we got kind of the grab bag. The grab bag sort of treasure vault. So I guess instead of taking off my faith, I'm gonna identify the amulet. I'll buy another identify. Alright, completely worthless, completely worthless treasure trove. As much as I'd like to wear Amulet of Air, I'm not going to give myself an accuracy, and I'm not going to take off this faith because I like to work off this, you know, this God Hate, God Wrath a little faster. I think that's how it works. This is a little much. Let's teleport away from this stuff. It's things we can't walk away from for once, so. Good mutations. No MR, but good mutations nonetheless. This distortion, I should be a little more careful. Could have gotten banished there, although I'm not super scared of the Abyss. I remember saying something similar on that wizard. So here's another thing I should probably put on my list. Mid-game teleports, you know? Just walking through here, I could get teleported into the main vault. It is possible. Unless they change that, so... It's pretty scary stuff. Hey, Yoka's not mad at me anymore. We can get back into not dying for no reason. So he can banish me, right? 14%. Not a fun time. Let's see what we can do to mitigate that. I see that that didn't really help. Let's just walk away. The Demonologist can also banish me. I suppose I should be a little more concerned about banish. Wow. We're just gonna walk away from all this crap. I mean, the real problem is there's no avoiding it. I can either risk being banished or I can risk being paralyzed, and obviously I'd rather be banished than paralyzed. So what are you gonna do, you know? Yep, there it is. That's fine. We're level 20. We're about to be 21, so this is not exactly a super scary thing. It's only Abyss 2 as well. The only thing I'm concerned about is losing arrows. Getting a lot of scrolls out of this. Actually, I consider this a nice little respite. While I could run into paralyzing or otherwise MR targeting threats in here, it's not super likely. I was hoping maybe I could find a nice MR ring. Maybe Gozag is the route, you know, because then you can make jewelry shops and be not exactly guaranteed to get MR plus, but more likely. Don't need Int plus 4. Maybe the trick is to just, once you're strong enough to survive Abyss and you don't have enough MR, you just stroll into the Abyss. You get banished on purpose. I mean, I'm joking. Obviously, the Abyss is dangerous for any level of character. So that can't be Menace. I was looking at that holy... You know what? Let's teleport, just because it might be something with a large shield. It's not. I can just pick up my arrows. I lose a few, no big deal. About to be maxed out on fighting. It's pretty sweet. Oh, there's my torment. I forgot that missing is a possibility, and then you can shoot through and hit that thing, and then you get tormented, but that's fine. Got our hit points back. So this is not like my wizard where I was in here and it was tough. You know, I have the ability to one-shot things with my bow, so this is not so bad. Even if I run into Star-Cursed Masses or Hell Sentinels or anything, really. There's our exit. I want to take a quick look at... I wanted to see what this loot was, but you know what? I bet it's nothing other than that end ring. Let's just get out of here. So as you can see, Abyss is not really a huge deal for this character. Sorcerer. Oh man, now he's ghostly. Let's finesse. Whew. Well, we have blinking. He can do 120 damage to me if he's hasted, but he's not. I'll take out that Lost Soul, and then the Death Mage. And then we'll take out the Demonologist. Oh man. We use lightning to do it. Didn't get mutated. Very good. There's Roka. I knew he was in here because of all those orcs. Alright, that's not MR. We've mastered fighting, so we'll take armor to 10, dodging to 10, and then I suppose we'll get some magic. Maybe I'll go ahead and take translocations to like 5, and we'll see if that's good enough to cast. All right. We'll fight him with him in the water and me not, and he'll miss me sometimes on account of that. Okay, he's hasted. Let's just rest until he's not hasted. He's still hasted. We'll rest again. Easy enough. Huh. Manual of crossbows. No thanks. Portal projectile. That's actually quite useful. Nope. Try on the spear. Insult to injury, not only is it not MR+, it is cursed. Wow, what are the chances, do you suppose, of coming across so many artifacts? Okay, that one's MR+. It's a weapon, unfortunately. But it does sort of give me a little bit of a respite. We'll just always wear that when we're moving. What a shame, though, that that's necessary. Oh, man. Alright. So that's Elf. We've done Slime, Orc, and Elf. And that means we can go into vaults. Because remember, even with this thing, we're only MR+++. Whoops, didn't put it back on there. Yeah, there we go. This is where I could have gotten paralyzed or whatever, but it's okay if we get paralyzed here, come to think of it. I'm gonna keep him at the absolute edge of my line of sight. paralyzes me, it's not a huge deal. As long as I keep him to the line of sight. Now that we know we can survive getting banished, this is all less of a big deal than it was before. Getting paralyzed still matters, though. That's always a chance of instant death. If you roll poorly enough. Alright, go Oka. Ogre Mage just cannot paralyze me now. Even if I don't have that equipped, the staff. Liches can. So technically I should be walking around with this staff on. Just in case I run into a Lich, because remember, if I walk next to a Lich, he paralyzes me, what's he going to do next, you know? He's going to proceed to lightning bolt me to death, or whatever. I should kill this thing first. Cannot be paralyzed by these guys anymore either. Okay, this could be bad. Immediately get flayed. Rough. Oh no. Well, I could certainly be paralyzed. We need to blink. It's because of that half. I'm talking about that half MR minus. Alright, Ogre Mage is dead. Now we teleport. So that was a wasted blink, but that's okay. That's the other thing you gotta watch out for, is those phantasmal warriors, or whatever they're called. Even if you have enough MR, you might... Well, it would take a very weird confluence of events for that all to happen on one turn. You'd have to auto-explore into a phantasmal warrior, and then there would have to also be like a vampire knight or something in just the right positioning that it can paralyze you at the same time. So that's almost impossible, so I'm not too worried about that. And even if I was, that would be essentially impossible to do anything about. I'm gonna fog, take a step, and then teleport again. Yeah, as I was saying, like if a deep dwarf has the worst of luck with MR right now at level 21, which is where I'm at right now, that deep dwarf would only have 2 pips of MR. So the whole idea of using the deep dwarf species as a way to avoid dying to MR problems doesn't really work to the degree I would like it to. It's not as much of a panacea as I'd like it to be to the problem. I think we can probably think we can probably finish out. Well, you know what? No, I'm gonna call this video. We're at 56 minutes. Next time we'll do vaults. We'll finish up vaults. We've only done one floor, so it's not really a big deal. We'll do vaults. We will abandon Oka. Then we'll go TSO, right? And then what we'll do is we'll, first of all, I'm going to train invocations to 15. Yeah. But then we'll probably go TSO. We'll get a longbow of holy. In fact, why don't I go ahead and pick up this longbow of flaming? We'll turn that into a longbow of holy here in a minute. But yeah, we'll finish out vaults, including vaults 5. We'll go crypts after going to TSO, get that maxed. Well, crypts is a pretty bad place to fight out, come to think of it. You can't dig, so you're raising your chances of dying. In fact, I read, apparently the biggest killer in crypts is not anything in crypts, but it's Ochre Wrath, so that's a great point as to why you shouldn't do that. So I'm thinking, let's see, what's my gold at? That's pretty good for Zen. I could just immediately go into depths and then swap back and forth between Zen and TSO real quick to do crypts. I think that's what we'll do. So we'll finish out vaults with Oka, swap Zen, go into depths, fight off the Wrath, and use digging to help us do that. 12 ranks is pretty good. Plus we have Blink as well, so that's cool. Need to take translocations to 10. Yeah, that'll be good. Cool, so there's the plan. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this run. Until next time, I am signing out.